Hello and welcome back to my channel, and in particular welcome back to the PompeyCast in what is today its 13th episode. Now it probably could have been more, probably should have been more if we'd have continued to do this after the 12th episode, but we didn't. We didn't think there was a lot to talk about. We're back today. Obviously I'm not here with anyone at the minute, there's no phone, but as a matter of fact we're not going to be doing it here. We're going to be doing it somewhere different today. There's not many people that can join me, so I think it might be quite obvious who will be joining me today. And without further ado, I reckon we should get there. So we're doing it here. Now today I'm obviously joined by Dad. How are you today, Dad?
I'm alright, buddy. You?
I'm good. As good as I can be, even though it's windy and we're trying to record outside again. We'll apologise in advance. We know what happened last time we were here. We're obviously in the background's Fratton Park, behind the fence. Today we're going to cover a lot of things. We're going to have a quick preview of Crewe at home, think about what our season's been like so far, England's recent games, and a bit of other football news. First of all, we're going to go over Pompey's season so far. What have you thought of it overall?
I think we've been pretty steady, to be fair. I think we've had some good wins. I don't think we started off too well, but since the first 3 or 4 games, I think we've come back. Especially when we're playing 4-4-2 and actually playing to people like Marquis's strengths. I think we're doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're pushing the playoffs now. Possibly after a bit of a shaky start, we could probably build on and go a bit further. I think obviously playing that 2 up top, or at least 2 in attack now, is looking a lot stronger. Harness running off Marquis, he's getting goals for himself and assists as well. Obviously, earned him the call up to the island set up after the Plymouth game on Monday. Obviously we're sitting in a strong position. I think our only problem this season could be our home form, and I think you'll agree with me on that. We're looking solid away, just as we did 2 years ago, but once again we're looking like we can't carry it over the board at home and away. Right. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, at the moment our away form's just outstanding. Our home form is terrible in the league, especially. I mean, we lost to Wigan, we lost to Charlton, we've drawn with Shrewsbury. I mean, Charlton aside, we should be beating most of the other teams we played at home, in my opinion. Well,
especially Wigan. I think we both agree that Wigan game should have been our easiest win of the season so far. I think we both agreed on that. They've got players on short-term deals, which obviously is not their fault.
I think if we had this conversation 6 weeks ago, we'd be having a completely different discussion. I think we're starting to come on, we're starting to get results, and we look like a far more formidable team than we did 6-7 weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our away form picking up's definitely helped fans kind of get on side. I mean, the fact that he changed to 2 up top, as I've already said, has probably changed a lot of fans' opinions of him. He's proven that he can change, because obviously he always used to revert to his 4-2-3-1 preferred formation. I think now he's realised he's kind of not working, especially at the start of this season when we kept losing. Even like, I know we were unbeaten on away still, but even our first away game, Rochdale, and we drew 0-0 to a team that are in the bottom kind of few teams. Yeah. You look at another couple of teams, start like Lincoln. They've surprised everyone this season with their start. Went up there and beat them, which, I mean, that's probably our biggest win so far this season. Maybe Sunderland could beat that. But you look at how many away terms. Sunderland, we beat them away. Lincoln, we beat them away. Who else have we played away? Burton, 4-2. Yeah. We've had a very good away run, and I mean, we just need to keep that going. But as far as we do need that, we also need to pick up points at home.
Yeah, certainly. If we want to, I mean, I don't think the playoffs is. I mean, we need to be getting in the top 2 this season. No doubt about that. That's got to be our aim. And obviously, to do that, we need to start winning games at home.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, as you're saying, with promotion, there's a lot of players in our squad. You look at your Ronan Curtis, you look at Marcus Harness, players that are now starting to be on the fringes of their international teams, especially Curtis, who's started in Ireland's last game. He came on against England. You know, he's a player that if we don't get promoted, he's definitely going to go. And
there's a few.
As well as that, even if they're not so talented, such as Tom Naylor, who goes under the radar a lot. He's a good player, goes under the radar quite a lot. His contract won't work for next season because of obviously the wage cap coming in.
No, definitely.
And a lot of players will have that lifestyle, which isn't anyone's fault. It's just how they.
We have to get up this season.
But yeah, financially, realistically, as the size of our club, we need to go up. Yeah. I mean, obviously, not having fans in won't help us, but it's the same for other clubs. You can't we can't just go around going, it's fans. That's the reason we're not going to get promoted. It's because there's no fans. Because Sunderland have the same problem. Ipswich have the same problem. Yeah. Obviously, teams like Fleetwood and Accrington, for example, are going to be possibly better off because they're used to playing without a huge atmosphere behind them, I reckon.
Oh, it does. There's no doubt it does affect us having no fans here. There's no doubt the atmosphere, the crowds near to the pitch, everything like that has a massive effect. So that's another thing. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, we can get fans back and get the atmosphere rocking at Fratton back again. Yeah,
I mean the players are starting to arrive now, along with the ref. I've just seen him drive past. So obviously we're recording this quite late on Saturday. It'll go out before kick-off, I hope. But I'm gonna ask you this question now. It's a bit of a weird one. Who do you reckon's been our surprise players slash good players this season, and then who do you reckon on the other end of the spectrum has been our bad or underachieving players this season?
Well, the best player this season for me, no doubt, Jack Watmore by a country mile. For me, he's been the best player. Consistent, class. He's easily a championship quality defender, and he's someone that, if we want to keep him, we have to go up, because he's another one that we won't be able to keep if we don't go up this season.
Mm-hmm. And then your underachieving slash bad player. I think I know what you're going to say, but I'll let you say it.
Well, no, it's not Raggett.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not Raggett. I think everyone.
I think a couple of weeks ago you would have said Sean Raggett, but go on.
I think that Rasmussen, after watching him the other night, out of position, he looked awful. He was.
Well,
for me,
the thing I'd say about Rasmus is, yes, that first goal against Plymouth, you could slate him, but obviously I didn't hear it. He could have called for the ball.
Yeah,
he should have let Pring know he was there, but in all fairness, he was doing what he should have done. If Pring had left it, we would have stopped that goal, but obviously he didn't. Yeah, and it's gone.
I haven't been very impressed with him.
I'm the one thing I worry about this season is our backups in defence. If you look at it, Monday, we had Jack Watmore left, and we had Rasmus and Raggett at the back. If one of them gets injured, what have we got?
Yeah,
we haven't got anyone.
No, that's someone we should have strengthened in there.
And obviously, even if it meant bringing in another lone centre back or bringing in a young centre back or something like that, we had to do that because we're now left with three first team centre backs.
Yeah, we're not.
Obviously, Bolton can do a job there, but I'd rather he was kept to his strengths on the right flank, realistically. Now, my best player this season so far, it's probably going to have to be, if I'm going for kind of form and I'm going off what I expected and then what they're actually doing, it's probably going to be Marcus Harness for me.
Yeah.
He definitely showed signs last season of what he could do, but I think this season he's coming to his own, especially up top with John Marquis, who's another player that I think's come out of his shell a bit with the two up top. And I think Marcus Harness has been our starlight this season, and for me, underachieving, possibly Sean Raggett, possibly even Ellis Harrison's just driving past. He's been a bit underachieving, but I think that's because he's not really playing a lot, so not a lot I can say about that one realistically. If he played a bit more, he's got some music on,
he's got the
quite
tunes
loud.
on, hasn't he?
But I think he needs to score a couple more goals possibly. He's been good off the bench definitely, especially when he came in against Wigan and got the one goal. But we're going to move on to today's game. Actually no, we'll do that last. First of all, we're going to talk about England. Obviously we're at Fratton Park, it's not England, it's in England though. So what do you think about England's last three games?
Well, friendly against Ireland, did alright, 3-0, expect to beat them. Belgium, lost 2 early goals, so we're always chasing the game, really didn't off. We got into the
Didn't the second goal go in quite a bit later?
No, the first 2 goals went in within the first 20
I thought
minutes.
the second one went in a bit later.
But yeah, I think the Belgian game we got found out a little bit. We were good in possession, but when we got to the final third, didn't offer a lot. Iceland, the only positive I'd take at the Belgian game, Jack Grealish, he could be a real player for us. The Nations League in general for me is just a bit of a waste of time if you ask me, but it is what it is. I think the game against Iceland we played well, won 4-0. Foden played really well in that game.
Yes,
scored 2 good goals. Once again, Grealish for me, standout player, and I think he could be someone moving forward. He could really do a job for England. Definitely.
And obviously there's been a lot of questions this week. Sorry about the wind. Been a lot of questions asked this week about Southgate's team selections. Obviously they've been called under fire of a couple of players he's picked, especially before this weekend when he seemed to not think that Mount and Grealish could play in the same team. He's now realised they can, and they're both playing very well. Mount picking up a goal the other day as well. Grealish looking brilliant. I mean, I saw a skill of him where he got down the outside of his boot and flicked it over Kevin De Bruyne's head and Thomas Meunier's head.
There's no doubt we got the squad, we got the players, mental. And our team's young, so I think I'm moving forward.
But I'm going to ask you this question now. We're going to have a little conversation about it, because obviously it's been the most talked about thing with England. What do you reckon our strongest 11 is?
Oh God.
If we're playing 3-5-2 with South Korea, well, it's 3-5. It's a weird formation, isn't it? It's like 3-4-3 realistically. But what do you think our strongest?
I'm not going to sit out and read out 11 players because.
Well, we'll do it quickly. We'll go right. Goalkeeper, quick, go.
I'd have
I'd have Dean Henderson
Dean
in there.
Henderson in goal. Pickford's got too many mistakes in him.
Yep, right. 3 centre backs. We'll do a quick one. I'd go Mings, Tarkowski, Maguire.
Agreed.
All right. Left wing back, Ben Chilwell or Bukayo Saka.
Chilwell for me.
Chilwell for you? I'd probably go Chilwell as well. He's a bit more experienced than Saka is. I think that's a bit obvious. Right wing back.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. Easy.
Silly question. 2 centre mids.
God. Grealish.
Oh, you playing Grealish in centre mids?
Yeah, Grealish.
What I would play Henderson and Maddison there. Realistically.
Well, Henderson I'd have as well.
Henderson there. He's got that thing about him in centre mid, and he knows what he's doing. I'd play Maddison there as well, because if you have Henderson there, doing all the defensive duties like Tom Naylor does for Pompey, you want someone that can create a bit.
Yeah, true.
So I think Maddison in there would work. Left flank, left wing. Foden left. You don't know their positions, do you?
I'll play on the left. Who do you play on the left?
Grealish. I play Grealish left wing. Who do you play up top? This realistically could be difficult, but
Harry Kane.
You got Kane, you got Calvert-Lewin, you got
Sancho would play up front.
You'd play Sancho up front.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd play Kane up top. Who would you play right wing / right forward? So you've now left yourself out of it.
Oh no, so I'd have Sancho right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd have Sancho right wing, obviously, but then you've got players like Sterling that are missing out.
Yes.
You got.
It's tough.
I'm going to say this to you now, though. A couple of players that I think shouldn't even be in the squad at the moment.
Yeah.
I want to see what you think. Harry Winks and Eric Dyer.
Oh, never ever. I don't know why Eric Dyer's playing for me. I think he's not up to international standard anymore, if he ever was. And
don't forget he scored the winning penalty against Colombia.
Whoopie do. But Harry Winks, no, agree with Blake on that.
I think Harry Winks definitely has the potential to be an England regular, but if you're looking off current form and you want to win games now, he wouldn't get in a squad for me where we have all that talent in Maddison, who's not even getting picked. Harvey Barnes as well didn't even get in it.
Yeah, there's a few.
And you're looking at Winks and Dyer, who neither of whom are playing well for Tottenham.
Yeah, true.
But obviously that's up to Southgate to pick the squads. Everyone's going to complain. You won't make everyone happy, will you? And now we're going to move on.
Yeah.
To obviously the big game of the day. Crewe here
at
Fratton Park. What do you reckon the score's going to be?
Hopefully 2-0. I don't think it'll be an easy game. Crewe just had 2 good results back to back. They beat Peterborough 2-0 and they beat Oxford United 2-0 away. So they're in a good bit of form. Obviously they got promoted from League 2 last year. To me they look a decent footballing side who could cause us a few problems, but hopefully we can at least go for the game, go for it from the start, play the right formation, 4-4-2, 2 up top, no messing about, and play what we have available, our strongest 11 from the start, and hopefully win 2-0.
Yeah, well I think 2-1. I reckon they will score because they look fairly confident going forward.
These are definitely the sort of teams we've got to be beating at home.
I mean they're good, but you say Oxford as a team they've beaten. Oxford are in the bottom 4.
Yeah.
I know they're in the play. I said this after we lost in the playoffs to them last season. I said because they relied on loanees last season.
Yeah.
You look at the amount of loanees in their squad that were playing every game. That would always come back to bite them, and it has. You look at it, they're now struggling.
Of course.
But Crewe, there's a fun fact about them here. I don't know if you know this. Crewe are the only team in English football to have never won any league. They've never won a division. No division in English football Crewe have ever won. And the funniest thing about that is they were top of League 2 when the lockdown came into force. So if they'd have been allowed to continue the season, possibly they could have won the league. You never really know.
True.
But obviously they came up last season. They're looking good. I can't really say they're not going to be good because of. But a lot of teams they'll come down here, Fratton Park. They think right, Fratton Park normally rocking. You got that big stadium now. You can get the 3 points of Fratton Park, which you could possibly struggle to get again. I think they'll come down here. They'll want to beat us, obviously, and I think they'll do a good job of trying. But ultimately, I don't think they will. I think it'll be 2-1.
Let's hope not.
And finally anyway, the new rule change that came into force. I think it's available for today. 5 substitutions of 7 on the bench. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, good idea. I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Good idea.
Totally agree with it.
I think if it's used in the right way for us, it could definitely benefit us over other teams. You look at teams, even such as Crewe, they're not necessarily got that much depth on the bench. You look at who we've got sat on our bench. We've got a lot of top quality talent that
when all
we
fit.
could. Well, yeah, obviously, but even when a couple of players are out injured, we still have that kind of talent. You can bring a couple of youngsters on, give them a bit of game time. But even look, you can bring Harrison on now. You can afford to do that, even if the game's not going our way. You can go, right, Harrison, you can come on. You can go, right, who else have we got on there? Minoga, you can come on for a bit of time. You can bring another centre back on if you need to. You can change a lot of things, and I think that's going to benefit us over teams like Fleetwood. Fleetwood, it will benefit as well, to be fair. Because you look at Fleetwood, how many players they signed in the summer? I think it was a good 15 or something like that. So I think Fleetwood, it will benefit them as well, because they've got so many top quality players. A lot of them aren't playing, but we'll see. If it's used right, it can go anyway realistically. But obviously, I hope everyone's watching today. I follow free. If you have a season ticket, I'll be watching. Going to be a good game, I reckon, to watch. Good advert for League One, possibly. You never really know. Could go either way. I reckon 2-1. I'm a bit confident in that. But we're going to finish this video now. Who would you start? If you're the manager, who are you picking?
McGilvery, even though it was a mistake the other day.
I'll agree with that one.
I'll start Lee Brown left back. If he's
Is
fit.
he fit? Yeah, that's
fit.
the only question, yeah. If he's fit, Lee Brown. If not, Cameron Pring.
Yeah.
You're forgetting our players now, aren't you?
What more at the back? No doubt about it.
That's
Raggett
obvious.
next to him.
Oh, you play Raggett next to him.
Yeah.
See, I'd play Rasmus next to him.
No way.
I'd want to see that happen.
Not after the other day.
Yeah, you can't blame everything on one player though.
Right back.
Right back, Callum Johnson.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. 2 centre mids. Let's just predict he's playing 4-4-2 or the 4-4-1-1.
I'll have
2 centre mids.
Taylor and Cannon.
Taylor.
Naylor, sorry.
You're doing what BBC did for the FA Cup game. They called him Taylor.
Yeah, Naylor and Cannon.
Naylor and Cannon, yeah. Obvious. Captain and then playmaker. Right mid. Or right wing. I mean, I will say there is only one option here, realistically.
What, Harness?
No.
Who?
Williams.
Yeah, Williams.
We don't really have a lot of players out there, do we?
No, so yeah, Williams.
Left wing.
Ronan Curtis.
Obviously. Possibly our best player. 2 up top.
No brainer really, isn't it? Harness and Marquis.
Correct. That's what I'd go for. You look at it, that team's very solid, especially with who we've got out injured at the minute. You've got Jacobs that still isn't.
Yeah, you've got a lot of players.
Jacobs.
I think
isn't
Williams, to be fair, Williams has been one of the standout performers this year.
See, I was going to say, he's my player for me that's gone under the radar a bit.
But the only thing for him, his finishing needs to improve. He needs to have, get some goals, end product.
Definitely.
But he has played well this season.
Yeah, Williams would have been my player that's kind of gone a bit unnoticed, if you know what I mean. He does all this work, but because he doesn't get many goals or assists, he doesn't get credited for it. So he'll run through a couple of players and whip it in, and someone will knock it down and they'll finish. And obviously, if people aren't watching the game or they're just looking at it, they'll think, oh right, he's got the assist, he's got the goal, no one else involved. But we're going to end the video there, because I mean there's not a load to talk about. We'll be back to do another one of these before next week's game.
Definitely.
Kings Lynn Town at home, the FA Cup.
We're in Oxford on Tuesday.
We are. I don't know if we'll do one for Tuesday night, but we'll see. We'll see you then, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. We want to get to 350 as soon as possible, and I'll see you in the next one.
Take care.